Hey everyone, and welcome back to the wonderful world of weddings. My name is Daniel Krikorian, and I am so happy to have you here. On this show, we bring to you all of the amazing information that has to do with your big day. We understand how difficult it is to get good information, to know what you're doing. So it is our job here at both Wonderful World of Weddings and Be Remembered to go ahead and bring in incredible vendors that can teach you the intricacies of the industry. Before we get into our show today, I want to let you know that this show is brought to you by Be Remembered, where you can have a wonderful wedding experience. Please go to BeRememberedWeddings.com for all your needs from photo, video, event planning, DJ, coordination, makeup, photo booth, and more. And speaking of which, we have our DJ right in front of us here, Christian Olaya.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
And we are so excited. And Sophie, truly the brains behind this show, was yelling at us because we have not had a DJ on the show yet. We've had everyone else.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
And, kind of important element of the big day, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have Christian here. Christian, comes from a DJing background and now is bringing a lot of his skills to Be Remembered, has been working with our customers and really has been integrated into our process, but also is starting to work with us to better our process as well.
Yep. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's been really great. And so, does your hat say Dad Gang?
Yes, it does.
I just saw that. Okay.
Yes, it does.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Dad Gang.
That's amazing. So, Christian, I guess the big question that everyone always has, and the way we start off shows, is how did you get into this whole mess? Because DJing, at one point everyone wanted to be a DJ.
Well, it's a long story, but it's not a long story. So I'll just go back to when it started. I've been DJing since 2011, and I got into DJing because of I have some family members that are DJs. My one uncle, well, my dad's cousin, but I call him my uncle because that we're that close. He's been DJing since he was in high school. Now he's like in his late 40s, almost 50. But the one that really stuck with me was my mom's brother, my uncle, and he was just a musician. He did DJing, so. He always told me, hey, once you get a little bit older, I'm going to show you the ropes, this and that.
Right.
Never got that opportunity. He passed away.
Sorry.
So that, I mean, you're talking about like 15 plus years ago. So
right.
That stuck with me. So once I graduated high school, I was kind of like, what I want to do. And I was like, you know what? Let me get into this DJing thing. I downloaded Virtual DJ, which that's old. That's old. Right. I downloaded Virtual DJ.
It was top of the line back in the day, though, wasn't it?
At the time, At the time.
Yeah.
This was before I even knew about Serato.
Yes.
So, pretty much throughout my college experience, if you saw me, I was in the library or I was at home just making mixes with the music that I had. So just watching YouTube and listening to the radio. And I'm from Jersey, so DJing over there is very big.
Yes.
And the radio DJs, they're top notch.
Yeah.
But that's how I got started.
How does that compare in Massachusetts?
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
I will say the closest thing that I got to experience to like New Jersey, New York, sound is in Rhode Island, in Providence. So when I first moved up here, I wanted to get acclimated to the area. So I was just reaching out to everyone. And that's how I found you guys. I found you guys on Google, and I was like, oh, they do, what I do. So let me reach out.
Yeah.
But I also reached out to a couple of lounges, clubs, and two of them got back to me. One of them gave me a chance. So I believe the weekend that I was supposed to do the expo with you guys, they gave me an opportunity. I did Friday and Saturday with them. So getting to DJ at that lounge, it was nice because I got to be me. I got to mix and just kind of showcase my stuff. So getting to see what those DJs brought to the table was nice, and it kind of reminded me, of back home. But yeah, so
I will tell you too, and weddings are such a different animal, right? It's so much organization, and I think that's something where, the art has to meet structure.
Yes.
And that's, and it's funny because you and I, when we did our first job together, I was showing you how we structure everything, and then I had the ability to kind of unleash you at that point and just say, go. And these people went crazy. I mean, they didn't stop all night.
No,
I'm pretty sure they were exhausted.
That was a great experience. And honestly, for me, I felt like I didn't really do much. It was just me just showcasing what I could do.
Yeah, and they were having a blast.
Yeah, like right off after 5 minutes, the one guest came up to me. She was like, "Oh my God, you're so good. You know, I've never
feel like
heard
I played two
like
songs.
That. Yeah, I only played 2 songs. I mean, to me, that's a good indicator.
Absolutely, and I think it is funny though too, right? Because you have some of these weddings where they say, "Okay, we're going to let you." Off the leash, go for it, have at it. And then you have other weddings, and I'm dealing with one right now where it's, no, this is the list of music that you're going to play that night. And it's like, okay. I mean, I'm not, for you, that's a little bit handcuffing, for me, I'm like, okay, I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. I'm not gonna be upset. I'll still make it sound good and have fun. Although I will, and we're going to get into this a little bit later on, because some people give you some, I'm going through their list and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to mix this. Like, this is going to sound like a car track. Like we're just kind of, going from one song to the next, because they're not really mixable songs.
When I first started doing weddings, I had to kind of break out of that mentality where it's like, no, I want to mix. I want to be able to do what I want to do, but it's not about that. It's about the customer. It's about the client and what they want. It's their special day. So I had to kind of just buckle down and just say, no, like I'll get my chance to mix, but I'm going to play what they want.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw my twist into it a little bit, and they love it.
Yeah.
So I always tell customers or, clients, please give me a list of music that you want, because otherwise, if you don't, I'm just going to go off the rails and play whatever I want, but that's not necessarily
right.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about them. So,
and we always try to give them the opportunity to say, hey, give me the music or give me the genre. Give me something to work with. Because if you say to me, hey, I like, Jason Mraz and John Mayer, and it's like, okay, I can build something off of that. Yeah. I know what your tastes are. I can go and show you some music that's very similar. I can keep within that range, right? But if you give me nothing, I'm like, oof. And those are always the people that go up and they go, I don't like it. It's like, well, why don't you tell me what you don't like first?
Yeah.
Let's start there. And that's usually the easiest thing to do. Tell me what you don't like. I will stay away from that. And then let's start working away into what you like.
So that's what I do. I like to give each and every one of my clients an opportunity to tell me what they like and what they don't like. And I specify, please tell me what you don't like.
Yes.
Because
that's huge. Do not play.
Oh yeah. A couple examples, line dancing. Some couples don't like line dancing. Some do.
Yeah.
So like your cha-cha slide, your Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
Whatever else there is. There's a whole bunch of them. I've gotten requests to not play those.
I got to tell you, I had a funny one. I'm on the phone with a customer coming up, and I said to him, I'm looking through his do not plays, and I'm reading through, and I said, okay, all right, these are pretty good. I start laughing. He goes, what? I said, did you put Anaconda on here? And he goes, yeah, I really didn't think it was appropriate for a wedding. And I was like, it's not, but I appreciate that you put it.
Well, you'll be surprised. I've had somebody ask me for WAP, and I'm like, that's not wedding appropriate. If we're at the club, that's different. That's not wedding appropriate.
I think what's funny too is I had a bride come up to me before, and we're having our kind of pre-meeting, and she goes, Dan, if they ask for a song, we want requests, but if they request a song and I don't want it, what happens? And I said, well, they didn't pay, so they don't get it. And she goes, I like it. It's like, well, no, really, I will check. I'll see if it's on your do not play. If it's on your do not play, I just say, I'm so sorry, the bride has requested not to have that.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, it's that simple. They have to be in control, know? So when we get back, I think we're going to talk a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes of DJing, because it has changed so much, right? And you and I had this discussion just earlier today of all the new software and what we're capable of doing. And it's opening up these avenues that really allow people to customize things like you've never believed. But that being said, everyone thinks they're a DJ nowadays too. So there's also that little wormhole to deal with.
That's social media for you.
Yeah, right. I know. And it makes everyone think they're everything.
Yeah.
So when we jump back here, we're going to keep talking to Christian, one of our Be Remembered DJs here. In the meantime, why don't you go ahead and jump on BeRememberedWeddings.com, the sponsor of this show, and go see how we can help you create a wonderful wedding experience from photography, videography, event planning, DJ, or more. Go ahead, send us an inquiry through there. Just reach out. We always say, just reach out and say, help me. If you're at the beginning of the wedding process and you have no clue what you're doing, we're here to guide. We're here to help. One of our wedding specialists is always available. You can email us at info@BeRememberedWeddings.com. Give us a call at 508-625-7142. Or again, go to BeRememberedWeddings.com and fill our inquiry form. We're going to be back here with Christian in just a few seconds. So after these commercials, we'll be talking about everything you need to know of the behind the scenes of being a DJ for your wedding. My name is Daniel. This is the Wonderful World of Weddings, and we'll see you back here in just a few. Thanks.
Every step, writing stories that seek to be read, taking hold of the moment as we discover every color filled with wonder. Now we finally see we got everything we need. Here we go.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Wonderful World of Weddings. I am so happy to have you here. My name is Daniel Krikorian, and we are talking all things wedding DJ today. Wedding DJ and entertainment and all things that entails. We just spoke with Christian in our first segment here about how he got his start in the whole world of weddings and DJs. And so now we're going to break it down and go a little bit more into what you should be expected to do, what's going on from the DJ, the amount of communication, coordination, etc., and get a little bit into the dirty details. Before we do that, I do want to let you know that Be Remembered is our sponsor of this show. If you have not booked any wedding services, or maybe you're just looking for one specific one, go to BeRememberedWeddings.com for all things photography, videography, event planning, DJ, coordination, makeup, photo booth, and even more. Go to BeRememberedWeddings.com, send us an email at info@BeRememberedWeddings.com, or even give us a call and speak with one of our amazing wedding specialists who can help guide you on your big day. Go and give us a call at 508-625-7142 to speak more. Now, I am speaking with Christian, and Christian is one of our amazing DJs here at Be Remembered and has really brought so much of his expertise into the fold here that has helped us just continue advancing this product and service for customers. And we're so happy about that. And before the break, we were just talking about really what we do and what we're looking for, but I want to break it down even more from a couple. What are you looking to extract from that couple prior to the day? We're having that phone call, we're having those communications. First and foremost, we use a list here. Asking them the major songs, right? Is that the first thing you're asking them to think about? The first dance, the parent dances, etc.?
No, and I'm just trying to get as much information as possible.
Yeah.
So outside of Be Remembered, if I'm conducting my own wedding event, I'm trying to get as much information as possible, like where the venue's at, how many guests, possible guests. I'm trying to find out theme colors, because I'm already thinking about a whole bunch of different things,
right?
Like especially for lighting, and then I tend to leave music for last. But I just especially for weddings, I need to know who's in the bridal party, what kind of special events are gonna happen. I'm more worried about that first, and then music is kind of last because to me that's the more easier part because I could just get everything later on. I just need to get everything up front from them.
And, that really goes into the whole component that we are a lot of the coordinating process, right? It's like, yes, the coordinator might put together the schedule, But we're the ones making it flow throughout the day. And most people don't have coordinators either.
No.
Right? So you have an event manager who is usually provided by the actual event hall or venue. And, you know, again, they're making sure that the tables are set up at the proper time, that dinner is being served at the proper time, but they're not making sure that, you know, Aunt Mary and, you know, Uncle Joe are being announced properly and the music's transitioning them.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, because I do look for a timeline as well. I like to keep everything in order. I want to know what's happening at what point, and just to keep the entire party moving along.
Yeah.
You don't want to have any hiccups.
Yeah. Especially for things, you know, and people think of DJ primarily for reception. And when I have had calls with couples before that are just starting this process, I'm saying to them, oh, well, you know, here's our package for reception. What are you doing for ceremony?
Yep, that's another big question.
You know, are you in the church? Oh, okay, so you don't need us. Are you here? So you don't need, okay. Are you in a different location and need some sound for this? You know, do you need a microphone? Do you need some processional and recessional music? Oh, I never thought about that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get that set up.
Yeah.
And I was just telling you today, we actually have the exact same speaker that we always use, which is an LD Maui 5, that is actually battery operated as well now, which is wonderful, right? It saves us a lot of aggravation.
That's going to be helpful down the line.
Yes. If your DJ, if you're not going with us and your DJ does need a power source, telling them how far that power source is and actually having a good estimate is a big difference, because 100-foot power cable versus a 50-foot versus a 25, you know, I'm pretty sure everyone in their right mind has different size cables.
Yeah, I mean, but that makes the difference.
Right. And you also need to let the venue know, because they can also provide that as well. So, some interesting information that really, if you don't have the power out there, you can't play the music no matter what.
Nope. And that's crucial.
Yeah.
And not only just for music, but also mics. You can't have microphones that cut out.
Yeah.
So that was a problem that I had this past weekend with the wedding. We were too far.
Yeah.
So
and you know, again too, you want to make sure that people who are sitting outside can hear it.
Yeah.
Right. That's
absolutely.
You know, especially with a large group of people. Do I need 2 speakers? You know, and that's why the guest is so important. Do I need 2 speakers? Do I need 1? You know, what can I get away with? Now, our speakers are so loud, you can usually get away with 1, but what space are we dealing with here? You're absolutely right. All of this information is absolutely critical for us. If you guys didn't know, I have been DJing, so that's why I'm speaking from my experience as well. Good. But what else? So we're coordinating. We're lining everyone up. Cocktail hour is another big thing too. You know, having the music transition from one part of the day to the next is amazing.
Sometimes cocktails not needed, because couples will either hire a singer, or maybe like a band or someone that like a harpist,
string quartet. Yeah, those are big. Yeah,
I've seen that a couple. I've seen a Frank Sinatra impersonator.
Oh, really?
He was pretty good though.
Was he?
He was pretty good. Yeah,
that's amazing. Actually, I never heard of that.
Yeah, this was back in Jersey.
Of course, it was.
I forget where the venue was at. It was nice. It was a nice venue. Terrible part, it was summertime, so they had cocktail hour outside in the heat. And everyone was just sweating.
I feel like that's always the big mistake. It's like, it's going to be nice out. Let's have it outside. It's like, yes, but if you have no shade and your guests are just boiling, now they're going to come inside. They're hot. They're probably sunburnt, dehydrated. And now you're going to get drinking. Things are going to be fun.
Things will easily get out of hand.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you know, here we use separate systems as well. So bringing a system from one place to the next is also critical for anything that we're doing.
Yep.
So, and again, understanding the logistics of it. If you guys don't have a coordinator, asking the venue for this information, if you don't have it, I think is absolutely critical, right?
Yeah. I like to know everything before I even step onto the venue.
Yeah.
I want to know where the reception is going to be, cocktail, ceremony. The first wedding that we did together, everything was perfect because it was all in that one room.
Yes.
But sometimes you have...
I mean, we moved some things around a little bit. Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, cocktail was like in the next room, but it was right outside the door. You have venues where everything is just scattered.
Yep.
Or you have to drive to different locations.
Yep. Yep.
So that information is crucial beforehand.
Absolutely. And then once we get into the song choice. And we're going ahead. I mean, for introductions, we're lining people up. We're making sure that they know what they're doing.
Yep.
Giving a little pep talk too, especially for those who are just like, I've never done. It's like, we're going to be fine. You're going to go in, you're going to dance, you're going to look, like a goofball, and we're going to get over this together.
Yep.
And you know what? I was actually really thankful. A wedding I have coming up, the whole song choice for each individual person going in kind of drives me nuts. I don't know.
To have individual songs?
Yeah.
I actually prefer it.
You prefer it?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
It's just a personal preference. I think it's a lot easier to just have one song for each couple because you make the announcement, you play the song, they walk out.
Yeah.
And then you could just keep going down the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in my experience, sometimes each couple can have like their own little dance or whatever little routine that they have planned. Because if you just play one song, you kind of have to get everybody out.
Yeah.
And that's actually what happened this past weekend. There was one song for the entire wedding party.
Yep.
But they all just came out all at once. And where the bride and groom wanted to walk out to like the specific minute.
Yep.
It all happened too fast. So as soon as they walked out, I just queued it up. I just played it. I was like, all right, let me at least fix this.
Yeah.
So that's why I at least have some control over that.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair. I think sometimes though, in my experience, when they want to jump around from like ridiculously different beat songs, you're just like, all right, so 1 second I'm playing Taylor Swift, the next is Sinatra, the next is, Bruno Mars, and then it's like, guys, give me a little bit. Can we line you up based on songs?
Well, at least how I've done it in the past, if they give me different songs that don't kind of match, I like to at least give my expertise, my advice. Hey, maybe this song doesn't go well with this introduction. Maybe if you pick a different upbeat song, I never try to say, oh, I need a different song because this doesn't go with. So I just use different words just to get them to send something else.
And just one last thing, talking about uplighting, with the ability of uplighting nowadays, which we love to use because it just adds an ambiance to the whole space.
I think it sets the mood.
Yeah. Letting us know your theme. I mean, it's not a giant deal because usually when I walk in and I see white and blue everywhere, I'm switching my lights to white and blue. Yeah. It's kind of that simple to a degree. But, having the ability to know that prior can definitely be fun, especially if they don't have an elegant setup that you're looking at and going, oh, that definitely makes sense. So definitely a key here. Guys, when we get back, we're actually going to talk more about all of the frequently asked questions in the DJ space along with trends. So stay with us here on the Wonderful World of Weddings. Let's talk a little bit more. And before I go, I am going to let you know that this show is brought to you by Be Remembered, where you can have a wonderful wedding experience. Go to BeRememberedWeddings.com to check out more. My name is Daniel. This is the Wonderful World of Weddings. And we're going to be back on here with Christian learning more about everything you need to know for DJs at your wedding in just a few minutes. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Every step, writing stories that seek to be read, taking hold of the moment as we discover every color filled with wonder. Now we finally see we got everything we need. Here we go.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Wonderful World of Weddings. My name is Daniel, and I'm so happy to have you here with us. Today we are talking all things wedding DJ, and if you have listened to our first two segments, you know what we're talking about here. Everything from Christian's background, we have a wonderful guest with us, all the way to what you should be looking for on the wedding day and what we need from you. That being said, if you haven't listened to them, please go ahead, and you know what, I'm going to tell you this anyways too. If you're listening on any podcast, like, share, comment, or go ahead and leave us a review too. That is huge for Apple Podcasts. This show is also on WCRN, and we're so happy to have you tuning in with us here. And before I get back to the show, I do want to say that this show is brought to you by Be Remembered, where you can have a wonderful wedding experience for all of your needs, including DJ. but photo, video, event planning, DJ, coordination, makeup, photo booth, and even more. Go to BeRememberedWeddings.com. If you just started your journey, know that you can actually build a customized bundle for your big day and get the best prices in the industry. Let's go ahead and help you, even if it's just the beginning. Give us a call at 508-625-7142 or email us at info@BeRememberedWeddings.com. Our wedding specialists are always here to help you out. Now, Christian, let's jump right back into our conversation here, because we were talking about everything we need, but I really think that so often, and I say this with all my guests, you get thrown into the wedding industry like this, right?
Yep.
You've been proposed to, you proposed, and now you're in this whirlwind of the wedding planning process. And they don't even know what questions to ask, right? And so I'm sure you've heard everyone says, oh, I think it's a stupid question. It's not a stupid question. You don't know any better.
I don't think there's any stupid questions ever.
No, especially in a industry where you're paying so much to make one of the most important days of your life and know nothing about it.
Yep.
So I always suggest ask questions. Ask as dumb as you may think they are. I guarantee you they've been asked before, and we try to work them through it. But is there any questions that you receive almost constantly? I have my list of them too, that maybe we can answer for them before they have to go and ask their DJ or us.
I would say one question that I get asked the most is if I'm reliable. So that was the bride's question from this past weekend, and I had to reassure her every time that we spoke on the phone, yes, I have everything covered. Don't worry about it. And you see this all the time.
Yeah. That's a big one for any person in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we built Be Remembered. It was like, hey, God forbid something happens to Christian that's out of his control. Dan's going to jump in. Tim's going to jump in. It's always ready to go.
That's how I like to conduct business too, especially on my own. I have a very small group of guys that I trust, that I know, all right, if I can't do this job, I have someone else in mind, and I know that they're going to take care of it. And if they can't do it, I have at least another one person that can do the job.
Yeah.
So just over the years with my experience, I made sure that I at least had a little network of guys around me that can back me up.
You can be relied on.
Yeah.
What about from a technical standpoint? Is there anything, I get asked about our speakers quite often, which I find kind of funny. That's my big one. And that's, are they loud enough? The LD Maui 5 is a loud
I'm not going to lie.
speaker.
That was the first question I asked when I saw the speakers.
Yeah. And it's so funny because they're so deceptive.
They are.
They look like they're not smaller, but more.
I think it's the design.
Yeah, it's the agile,
design.
Right?
This past weekend, I was able to push those speakers, I think, more than we did the first time.
Yeah. And
they handled very well.
I don't even think we've put them to capacity yet, or even.
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance. I did max them a little bit, but not too much.
Right.
So I think they have some more juice.
It's incredible. And, for the spaces that you're typically in for a venue too, I've never had to. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Most weddings just don't even need it. They're tight venues, low ceilings, etc. When you see the excessive speakers that can be at weddings at times.
Oh, yeah. I have two 15-inch speakers, two EVs, and those things.
They bump.
They bump.
Yeah. But I will tell you, the funniest thing is in a venue, most of them, I'd say 90% of venues, you're not even utilizing them.
No, you can get away with 12-inch speakers for most events. But I got the 15-inch EVs because they were on sale. I was like, why not? Always look for sales. That's what I did.
And that's why we buy products here. So what other technical questions do you have? Thankfully, I don't get asked what board I'm mixing on most of the time, which
I don't think people care about that, and no. I never talk about that. I think what I get most is, can you play the music that I want?
Yeah.
Can you not mess it up? I get that all the time. Can you play this specifically to how I want it, and please don't mess it up?
Right.
Which is fine because I get it. It's their day, and it's all about them. So I make sure that that's handled. Another question is about the mics.
Yes.
Are they
big
going to
one.
cut out? Or are you going to have an issue? Are they going to die on you? Always have backup batteries.
Yes.
Every
Oh
DJ
my
out there,
God.
please
Oh
carry
my God.
backup batteries
Yeah.
in your bag.
Yes.
That's a big one.
And that's why I actually like, it's funny because we were moving to mics that were chargeable at one point.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? No. Let's go to double A's. Let's
Yeah.
go to a mic that has double A's. And James looked at me and he's like, well, isn't that kind of old school? Like the LED the LED batteries, right? Whatever they are.
Yeah.
Lithium ion, right? He was like, oh, well, these batteries will last forever. I was like, yeah, but God forbid they don't. The idea that I can pull 2 double A's or 3 and slide them in there is so much more reliable.
So what I learned within the last couple of years is always just put in 2 new batteries.
Always.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how long you use that last microphone for. Just dump them.
Don't even rely on the little battery symbol.
Nope.
Yep.
The new ones.
Before a wedding, we have a whole back room with batteries.
Yeah,
we don't even deal with that.
I did buy like rechargeable batteries, but I don't use them that often because I just ended up buying regular AA batteries and just dumping them in there.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. No, I totally agree with you.
Nope.
All right, and then finally, let's get into some trends here. Are you seeing any music trends that are occurring out there? Because, I mean, I see the same old songs. I hate to say that, but...
So when it comes to weddings, it's... I don't want to say it's a cookie cutter, but it can be because I will go on the record and say that nothing beats the classics. Nothing does. I love 80s rock, 80s pop, and I always play that at weddings. And usually at weddings, you have a typical like older crowd.
Yeah.
So you can always get away with playing those songs. The oldies, jazz, classic rock, some disco.
Well, you know, I made this comment the other day, and it was a bit facetious, but it was, wow, there must be no good music, because every song that I was playing at this wedding was songs that I listened to in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened here? Do we just have this gap of music where the new music, I don't think the new music says danceable. I think that's actually one of the biggest portions of it.
There is newer pop, like top 40.
Yeah.
Any kind of electronic music. It really depends. Because not everyone's into that. So,
but I also find that the music that was created when we were in high school and middle school, right? It wasn't too vulgar. So
that was one point that I was going to make.
So you could actually have parents dancing to it and the young kids dancing to it, because it really molded to both.
Yeah.
Now
you have to worry about.
Yeah. WAP.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, hate to bring it up twice, but now you have to worry about that. And you have to sit there and go, is that something I actually want to play? And I think there were those songs back in, our high school days too, but there weren't as many. It was 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30, where nowadays it is 19 out of 20 are vulgar.
Every song.
Exactly. And so you have one that sneaks through every once in a while that is usually a country song gone pop, or, a T Swift where she's not angry at the world. And, I don't know. I mean, it just seems different.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I mean, no disrespect to the hip hop culture. I love hip hop. So it has gotten a little bit out of hand. So it's very hard to play at a wedding or a private event because just the vulgarity that's
right.
That's in the songs.
And you don't know what you're dealing with. And you want the old people dancing just as much as you want the young. And so you got to play that line, right?
That's what I did this past weekend. I played a lot of slow jams to start off the night, get everyone kind of, in that mood, get on the dance floor. And then right off the bat, someone came up to me, are you going to play any more upbeat music? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I got a whole system that,
right.
So once I broke out into the upbeat music, the whole dance floor was packed.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see because you had everyone from the older generation to the younger crowd, and they were just tearing up the dance floor.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, when we come back, we're going to hear more stories from Christian about his experiences and also just a little bit more advice on what you should do for your big day. This has been the Wonderful World of Weddings. We've had Christian on from Be Remembered Weddings. If you haven't already, go to BeRememberedWeddings.com for all things photo, video, event planning, DJ, coordination, makeup, photo booth, and more. No matter what part of your journey you're on, go to Be Remembered Weddings to make your wedding a wonderful wedding experience. Now, I'm going to be back. My name is Daniel. This is the Wonderful World of Weddings. And we're going to come back here in just a few after this commercial break to talk and finish up our conversation on all things wedding DJs. So join us in just a few, and we're so happy to have you here. Thanks, guys.
Every step, writing stories that seek to be read, taking hold of the moment as we discover every color filled with wonder. Now we finally see we got everything we need. Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go, with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day, it's ours to take, and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Wonderful World of Weddings. My name is Daniel Krikorian, and I'm so happy to have you here joining us on this wonderful episode as we talk all things wedding entertainment, wedding DJ, your lighting, your whole 9 yards. We've had Christian from Be Remembered on here talking. He is an amazing DJ that I've had a wonderful pleasure to experience a wedding with. Now, before we get back to our show and continue the conversation, I do want to let you know to go to BeRememberedWeddings.com for all things weddings to make a wonderful wedding experience, from photo, video, event planning, DJ, coordination, makeup, photo booth, and more. Go to BeRememberedWeddings.com. Also, too, if you're in the beginning of your process, I always encourage this to people. Reach out to one of our wedding specialists. You can email us at info@BeRememberedWeddings.com or give us a call at 508-625-7142. And you can literally just say to us, and we have people say this all the time, help me. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like, fair enough. You just got into this. Let's help. Let's figure out how to make your day great. You know, you may not need as many hours for one service, so let us build a custom package that really suits your needs, give you a great price, and make that day absolutely incredible. Now, Christian, in the last segment, for all of you who have been listening or maybe haven't, jump back there. You can always listen to the show. It is recorded and available on all major podcasting sites, your Spotify, your Apple, iTunes, your Android, I think it's Google Podcasts, you name it, it's out there. But we're talking about frequently asked questions, and we're talking about trends. But for me, the other thing is, what's your best advice for couples? What do you always, if you're doing your wedding again, what do you say to couples who are just starting this whole thing, especially the DJ process?
Book your DJs early, mainly because you don't know what their availability is like.
Right.
I have a wedding actually booked out. They booked me this year for next year.
Yeah.
So, that's very nice because now you can just kind of plan around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the industry, there's plenty of DJs.
Yes.
But you're going to get what you pay for.
Yep.
So that's why I think it's best to, if you're going to go the DJ route, make sure you do your homework early, just kind of shop around. And, find something that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, that's the Be Remembered concept was giving you the option to find the right people for you, right?
Yeah,
and matching you with the right people. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we've really always encouraged. And for me, my biggest piece of advice too for people is always to, we send out our information early and we say, hey, fill this out, but it's really to take your time to understand, give us a call, communicate, right? Mm-hmm. There's so much you don't know, and that we can just have a simple conversation. I like calls. I think that they're better.
Same.
I think when you have that information drawn out, emails, forms, that's great. But sometimes you're just lost. And
I think it's better to have an actual phone conversation with the couple because they can hear you. They hear your voice. They know, they can get a sense of your personality.
Yes.
They know what you're about. And then you're also kind of vetting them. You're figuring out, what their needs are and et cetera, everything from there.
Right. And you can also get a gauge of how much control each of you needs because in a wedding, it's always, and I don't mean that in a negative manner. I mean it just in the regards of some couples are so hands off. That's totally fine. I have a couple this week who they gave me every single song of the night. Fine, fair enough, right? And you need to understand where that balance is for both of you.
Yep.
And you can play to that strength too.
Yeah, I mean, just to go off what you just said, whenever I'm asking for music, I ask for a list of requests. So if you give me a whole list of songs for the whole wedding,
83 songs.
I mean, that's great because now I can break it down by genre. I can break it down by, all right, do you want this for dinner music, cocktail, reception? And that's easy. That makes my job easy. So yeah, I'm definitely looking for that. Another thing I will say is, on top of trying to get as much information from them, I think you need to be able to make yourself accessible to them at all times, because even if they have questions, like we said earlier, no question is ever stupid.
No, it's not.
So even if you've heard the question thousands of times, I mean, you're going to know the answer. So it's just best to...
And it's also a comfort thing, right? And that's why I love our wedding specialists here, because they can call them at any time and they can say, hey, Tim, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, well, we do this all the time. I would do this, I would do that. And the amount of appreciation I get in my emails when I'm just answering a standard question. A lot of people just say to me, I have no clue what I'm doing for my timeline. Can you take a look at it? Absolutely. All right, I would move this around here. I would put this here. Just suggestions, but this is what I would do. Well, why? Well, and I usually actually send this without even asking why. I would move this to here simply so we can have a flow of this to that, and we can make sure that we have enough time allocated and things run over. And they go, thank you so much. I had no clue. And it's like, we're happy to do it.
Sometimes there's things that couples don't even think of until someone else with experience brings it up. Like when I got married, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, all right. I told my wife, you can just do whatever it is that we need to do, and we'll go from there. So, and to me, I figured that there wasn't any kind of guideline. Even while being a DJ, I would just ask questions. But then I think she found the planner at some store. And that kind of just broke everything down, everything you needed to do. And it gave you like specific dates. And it was just a whole planner. It was nice. So I do believe that if you can work with a coordinator, that's probably the best thing for you. Yeah,
absolutely. We always encourage that. And, again, having them really building that timeline, making sure that everything's settled, and then, working directly with that DJ to be like, hey, we're going to go ahead and make this all nice and smooth. We're going to keep that music flowing through the night. We're really just going to go ahead and help you out here. That's a wonderful thing. And it really just puts everything together for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love structure and order. And if I'm not in that kind of timeline, it just throws me all off.
Well, and again, too, when you have that, you can go ahead and say, okay, it's now time for me to work, right? Now we're in the reception part of this thing. I can start DJing. I can actually start mixing. I can have fun. I can go and accelerate at what I'm good at because the rest is taken care of. And that's why we build such an organizational structure. So it's just like everything's taken care of. I don't even have to think about this. This wedding is going to go off without a hitch. I have my backups. I have everything lined up. Boom, let's go and do it.
I think the coordinators at Be Remembered deserve a shout out.
They certainly do, especially because I feel like every single DJ job lately has had a Be Remembered coordinator at it too, which is
the last
wonderful.
one I did.
Mine on Saturday does. And I'm actually at CRI, which is in Boston, this community rowing place. I'm actually excited. I've never done a wedding there. They gave me a whole chart layout, and this is where this will be, and arrows and this. And I'm like, you guys are great.
That's perfect.
Get on this.
That makes our lives so much easier because you show up, set up, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and it's like a huge map of the place too, because I sat there, as soon as I saw it was CRI, I was like, how am I going to do that? I was like, I'm happy to. I'm sure we're going to figure this out. And that's most of the time. It's like, we're very good at just making do with what we have.
Okay.
But that being said, if you know it ahead of time, things are just going to be smoother and faster and the whole 9 yards. So it's fantastic.
You can plan around that.
Absolutely. But before we go, guys, I do want to let you know, and I really appreciate you coming on here. Again, Sophie has been trying to get a DJ on here for the longest time. We've just had guest after guest after guest. So it is perfect to end the season on, right? I mean, it's awesome, and it's such an important part of the day. I do want to let everyone know, and I just kind of insinuated it there. This is going to be our last episode of season 1. And so we really appreciate you being a part of this show, listening in every single week, hopefully laughing at the ridiculous humor of some of these guests I've had on. Christian and I feel like we haven't been funny enough, and I apologize for that for everyone. I haven't said anything too stupid today, which is wonderful.
No,
I mean, I still have 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, you still got some time.
But we do really appreciate everyone joining in. I do want to let you know, if you're not following us already, go to social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of these. It's at b.rememberedweddings. Go follow us today. And also, too, when we do season 2, we always are looking for recommendations, questions, stories, you name it. If you go to berememberedweddings.com/podcast, you can actually fill out our form to ask any questions. Even if your wedding comes and goes by the time of season 2, we just want to know what we can do for you. So if it's bringing on Christian and kind of grilling him more and asking him the questions you need,
I don't mind that. That sounds like a good idea.
We have some fun with that.
Yeah.
Make him sweat a bit. Or bringing on different people that maybe we didn't even think of or get to this season. Let us know. Again, go to berememberedweddings.com/podcast, and you can do everything right there. Again, Be Remembered is our sponsor of this show. Be Remembered is where we are all from. So go Be Remembered Weddings for all things photo, video, event planning, DJ, coordination, makeup, and even more. And again, Christian, thank you so much for ending the season with us. We do really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's my it's what I love doing, man. I just want to be here and do what I can to help you guys grow.
Yeah, we're having a good time over here. We're growing quite a bit. My name is Daniel. This has been the Wonderful World of Weddings. We're going to see you back here for season 2, where we have even more guests, more information. Maybe we have Christian back on again. But again, give me some questions. We'll grill them. We'll grill some other people. We'll have a good time. Thank you guys so much. We hope to see you again soon, and take care. And also have a wonderful wedding season as it comes up. And if you're getting married, congratulations in advance. Talk to you soon, guys. Thank you.